The rain was pounding against my skin like icy needles as I stood on the curb, my suitcase soaked through and sinking into the mud. I was 24 years old, and in one brutal evening, my entire world had crumbled. "Mom, please," I whispered, my voice cracking. But the woman who had raised me for the last 10 years, the woman I called Mom, even though she was technically my stepmother, only stared at me with cold eyes. "You are no longer part of this family, Lily," she said flatly. "That scandal you caused, the missing money, the lies, we all know it was you. Get out. It wasn't me. I had never touched that money. But my stepsister had framed me perfectly, and my father, God rest his soul, gone only 6 months, wasn't there to defend me anymore." The door slammed shut. The locks clicked. I was alone in the pouring rain with $20 in my pocket and a broken heart. That night I walked for hours until my feet bled inside my ruined shoes. I slept under a bus shelter, shivering, wondering how my life had turned into this nightmare. The next few weeks were hell on earth. I couch-surfed with distant acquaintances who eventually got tired of me. I ate whatever I could find in trash bins or from the kindness of strangers. Every night I cried myself to sleep, asking the same question. Why me? What did I do to deserve being thrown away like garbage? One freezing evening, while scrolling through my dying phone at a public library, I saw it. An online listing for a house in a small rural town 2 hours away. Abandoned fixer, upper. Must sell immediately due to unpaid taxes. $5. Or best offer. $5. It sounded like a joke, but the photos showed a 2-story Victorian with peeling paint, overgrown yard, and broken windows. It looked haunted. It looked like the end of the road. With the last of my savings from my part-time job before everything fell apart, I bought it. The transaction was weirdly simple through some online auction site. Within days, I was on a bus with my suitcase, heading toward what I hoped was a new beginning. When I first stepped onto the creaky porch, the wooden boards groaned under my weight, like they were complaining about being woken up. The air inside smelled of dust, old wood, and something faintly sweet like forgotten flowers. The house was dark. The electricity had been cut off years ago. I used the little money I had left to get the power turned back on and bought some cheap candles and a sleeping bag. The first night, I lay on the dusty floor of what used to be the living room, listening to the house settle around me. There were strange sounds, floorboards creaking upstairs when no one was there. A faint scratching behind the walls. I told myself it was just old pipes or animals. I had no choice. This was my home now. Over the next weeks, I threw myself into fixing the place. I cleaned from sunrise to sunset. I scraped off layers of grime, patched holes in the roof with plastic sheeting, and slowly made one room livable. The physical work helped numb the pain of my family's betrayal. Every nail I hammered felt like I was building myself back up. It was during one of these cleaning sessions in the upstairs bedroom that I found the first clue. Behind a loose board in the closet, there was a small metal box. Inside were yellowed letters, tied with a faded ribbon. They were all addressed to my dearest daughter. The handwriting was elegant. Dated from the late 90s, the writer spoke of love, regret, and a terrible family fight that forced her to leave everything behind. I read them by candlelight every night, feeling strangely connected to this unknown woman. She wrote about being disowned too, accused of something she didn't do by her own mother. History repeating itself, I thought bitterly. As I continued renovating, more strange things appeared. Old photographs hidden under floorboards showed a young woman who looked eerily similar to me. Same eyes, same smile. There were newspaper clippings about a local scandal from 25 years ago involving a prominent family. The sounds at night grew louder. Sometimes I swore I heard soft, sobbing coming from the walls. My hands shook as I worked, but something kept me there. A strange pull, like the house needed me as much as I needed it. One stormy night, exactly like the night I was kicked out, I decided to explore the attic. The trapdoor was sealed tight, but I pried it open with a crowbar. Dust rained down as I climbed the rickety ladder. My flashlight beam cut through the darkness, revealing old trunks and boxes. In the far corner, behind a false wall I accidentally knocked loose, was something that made my heart stop. A small wooden chest. Inside was a birth certificate. My birth certificate, but the mother's name wasn't my stepmother's. It was the name from the letters Eleanor Hayes, the woman who once lived here. My hands trembled as I read further. There were legal documents, a handwritten will. Eleanor was my biological mother. She had been disowned by her wealthy family after getting pregnant with me out of wedlock. She left me this house in secret, hoping one day I would find it. She had saved every penny she could, hiding money in the walls, nearly $10,000 in old bills, enough to start over. But the biggest shock came in the final letter. Lily, if you're reading this, it means you found your way home. Your stepmother was my sister. She married your father after I disappeared. She always hated me for having what she couldn't. The scandal they blamed you for. It was her. She did it to get rid of you just like she got rid of me. You were never theirs. You were always mine. Tears streamed down my face as the truth crashed over me. The family that threw me away wasn't even my real family. The house wasn't random. It had been waiting for me my entire life. I sat there in the attic for hours, sobbing with both grief and overwhelming relief. The secret in these walls didn't just give me a home. It gave me back my identity. It gave me proof that I wasn't the worthless person they said I was. In the months that followed, I used the money to properly restore the house. I tracked down distant relatives on my mother's side who welcomed me with open arms. I confronted my stepmother with the evidence, though I didn't need their forgiveness anymore. I had found my own. Now, when I sit on the front porch of my beautiful Victorian home, watching the sunset paint the sky in soft pinks and oranges, I feel something I never thought I'd feel again: peace. The house that was abandoned, just like me, had saved us both. If you're out there feeling lost, betrayed by the people who were supposed to love you, remember this. Sometimes the darkest roads lead you exactly where you need to be. Sometimes home isn't where you were born into. Sometimes home finds you. And sometimes the walls hold secrets that can heal even the deepest wounds. In the months that followed, I used the money to properly restore the house. I tracked down distant relatives on my mother's side who welcomed me with open arms. I confronted my stepmother with the evidence, though I didn't need their forgiveness anymore. I had found my own. Now, when I sit on the front porch of my beautiful Victorian home, watching the sunset paint the sky in soft pinks and oranges, I feel something I never thought I'd feel again: peace. The house that was abandoned, just like me, had saved us both. If you're out there feeling lost, betrayed by the people who were supposed to love you, remember this. Sometimes the darkest roads lead you exactly where you need to be. Sometimes home isn't where you were born into. Sometimes home finds you. And sometimes the walls hold secrets that can heal even the deepest wounds.